This matchup won't have a conclusion because of fire.
Universe. It was the night. SmackDown had been hyped for weeks, and fans had been waiting in anticipation for what promised to be another unforgettable spectacle. The card was stacked with top-tier talent, rivalries were intensifying, and the crowd was buzzing with excitement. From the first moment the show began, the energy was undeniable. But there was one thing no one saw coming, something that would send shockwaves through the arena, something that would change everything. Jade Cargill, a woman who had carved her name into the WWE history books with her unmatched strength, incredible resilience, and unparalleled ambition, was about to experience a moment that would push her beyond any limit she had known before. As one of the most feared and respected figures in WWE, her aura alone was enough to command attention. In the ring, she was a force of nature, a dominant powerhouse with a record that spoke for itself. Every step she took toward that ring reminded everyone why she was considered one of the most dangerous women to ever compete in WWE. But that night, something was different. The crowd erupted as Jade's entrance music hit. The WWE Universe knew they were about to witness greatness, as they always did when Jade Cargill graced the ring. She exuded confidence, power, and grace, a combination that made her nearly unstoppable. Yet, as the excitement built to a fever pitch, there was an undeniable tension in the air. Something was wrong. It wasn't just the usual pre-match jitters. It was as if the very atmosphere was charged with something darker, something more sinister. Before the bell could ring to officially begin the match, chaos descended. Without warning, the lights flickered, and a thunderous roar from the crowd echoed through the arena. In a flash, the arena fell into stunned silence. Jade, who had been set to showcase her unmatched skill and power, was blindsided in an attack so brutal, so unexpected, that it sent shockwaves through the entire WWE universe. The attack wasn't just a random ambush, it was an assault so calculated, so personal, that it was clear this wasn't a move designed to win a match. This was a statement, a declaration of war. The attacker struck with a force so vicious and unrelenting that Jade was sent crashing to the mat before she could even defend herself. The WWE Universe gasped in disbelief. This was not the kind of brutality one would expect from a WWE show. It felt more like an act of pure aggression, one that went beyond the boundaries of competition. As the arena fell silent, the only sound was Jade's pained breaths as she lay sprawled out in the ring, the victim of an attack that seemed almost premeditated. For a moment, the match was forgotten. This was no longer about winning or losing. This was about survival. This was about dominance. And Jade was not the kind of woman who would let herself be taken down so easily. The officials scrambled to restore order, and security rushed in to separate the chaos. The fans, still in shock, watched as Jade tried to recover from the shocking ambush. But it was clear that this wasn't just another rivalry. It was personal. It was a message. And it was a message that Jade would not take lightly. Backstage, cameras caught an exclusive moment with Jade as she stormed through the hallways, furious, her eyes burning with a fire that had been ignited by the attack. Her body language told the story before she even spoke. Jade was absolutely livid, and anyone who knew her well enough understood that this was a woman who had just been pushed past her breaking point. In a chilling backstage interview, Jade, still visibly enraged, wasted no time in delivering a warning to whoever had orchestrated the attack. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life," Jade said, her voice cold, calculated, and dangerously steady. Her words carried the weight of someone who had been wronged, someone who was now hell-bent on retaliation. It wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. Jade's eyes burned with an intensity that sent a shiver down the spines of anyone watching. Her reputation for being one of the most ruthless, methodical, and destructive forces in WWE was not something anyone could forget. And when she made a promise, history had proven that she delivered. As Jade's furious words echoed throughout the WWE universe, the air in the arena grew thicker with tension. The fans, still processing what had just happened, were now even more on edge. But just as it seemed the night might settle into some semblance of normalcy, WWE dropped a bombshell announcement that completely altered the trajectory of the show, and perhaps even the future of the women's division. The decision made by the higher-ups in WWE didn't just fuel Jade's anger. It was the catalyst that ignited a fury so intense that it was impossible to ignore. For some, it was seen as a strategic move, a power play designed to shift the balance of power. But for Jade, this wasn't a business decision. It was a betrayal, pure and simple. For years, Jade Cargill had built her career on respect. She didn't take shortcuts. She didn't rely on handouts. She earned every victory, every ounce of admiration she had received. And when someone crossed her, when they disrespected her, they quickly learned that Jade doesn't forget, and she certainly doesn't forgive. In the wake of this new decision, Jade was more determined than ever to make sure that whoever was responsible paid the ultimate price. She wouldn't rest, and she wouldn't stop until the scales had been balanced. It didn't take long for Jade to respond. The retaliation was swift, calculated, and relentless. Jade wasn't the kind of woman to go quietly into the night. She was the storm that would tear through anyone who dared to challenge her. Her vengeance would not come in small doses. It would come with the full force of a hurricane, and it was going to be unforgettable. Jade's dominance in the ring had always been undeniable. She had left a trail of destruction wherever she went, taking down some of the biggest names in the business. But this time, it was different. This wasn't about titles. This wasn't about championships. This wasn't about competition. This was about something far more important: respect. For Jade, respect was everything. It wasn't given. It was earned. And once you crossed that line with her, you sealed your own fate. There was no going back. And now, Jade was prepared to show everyone why she was one of the most feared competitors in WWE. As the news spread across social media, the WWE universe erupted. Fans took to their keyboards to share their thoughts, speculating on what Jade's next move would be. Some defended the attacker, calling it a necessary power play in the cutthroat world of professional wrestling. Others rallied behind Jade, vowing to support her as she took on the entire WWE roster. The WWE universe was divided, but one thing was certain: Jade Cargill was not going to let this slide. And her promise of retaliation wasn't just a warning, it was a certainty. Jade's fury became infectious, spreading like wildfire across the WWE universe. Fans were on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what would happen next. Would Jade go after the person responsible for the blindsided attack? Would she seek vengeance against the higher-ups who had made the decision that had pushed her over the edge? The anticipation grew with every passing moment, and one thing was for sure. When Jade Cargill promised retaliation, no one in WWE was safe. This was personal. And when it's personal, Jade became an unstoppable force. In another backstage interview, Jade's words were even more chilling. "You made the biggest mistake of your life," she repeated, her voice calm yet laced with venom. Her eyes glinted with intensity. "And now, I'm coming for you." Fans couldn't help but wonder, who would Jade target first? Was it the person who attacked her, or the powers that made the decision that set her off? Or would Jade simply take on everyone in her path, leaving a trail of destruction wherever she went? The possibilities were endless, and WWE fans couldn't wait to see how it all unfolded. This wasn't just another rivalry. This wasn't just another match. This was the beginning of something far bigger, something that would be talked about for years to come. Jade had made it clear. She would stop at nothing to get what she wanted. The WWE universe had already witnessed her power and dominance in the ring, but now it was personal. And when Jade Cargill goes to war, no one is safe.